So the AnyLogic Roadmap, you probably remember this slide I showed a year ago before. That was a slide preceding the actual roadmap. And this was what we announced last year. So basically, by that time, we had already released 7.1. And we were announcing 7.2 to be released June 2015 with a database. And then 7.3, which we kind of briefly described, and there was a kind of fashionable cloud, picture of cloud here. So actually, this is how the roadmap looks now. So we already passed 7.2, which was released with a 1-month delay, which I think, frankly, is great because it's only 1 month, and this is software. And the bonus was the fluid library, which we didn't plan to include originally, but we actually developed and released it in July 2015. Now, so we're now here just before the release. We make an additional stop this year in 7.3. It's going to be released in December this year. And the main major feature of 7.3 is road traffic library, which will, in a way, make our tool set for logistics, transportation, and supply chain complete. And after that, we already have started doing something different. And I will talk about AnyLogic 8, so we decided to give it the number 8. I will talk about this stuff at the end of the presentation. Also, we can now disclose this separate thread that we said last year we started. So the name of the thread is AnyLogistics. It is a simulation-based tool for supply chain optimization. AnyLogic 8. As you can see from you obviously know how we were developing the product within the last years. And as you can see, we mainly were focusing on the modeling power and flexibility of AnyLogic. So we were focusing on how you actually model things, how do you map the real-world problem to the world of models. And we're trying to deliver to you the tool where you would never, ever use any workarounds. So our idea was to, no matter how complex and where the real-life object is, you will always find the right construct in any logic model language so that the model looks natural, minimalistic, clean, and beautiful. So that was our goal. And I frankly think that we did a lot in this direction. We achieved a lot, and at the moment, AnyLogic is the most flexible tool on the market with unmatched functionality. So now we will, for a little while, focus on something else, exactly on how you run your models, how you manage your already developed simulations, how you deliver your simulations to your clients, how you store them, how you play with them, collaborate, etc. So AnyLogic 8, which you will see next year, will be, as you can see on this map, partially based in the cloud, partially as a web app in the browser. So the kind of transition from 7 to 8 is the following. In AnyLogic 7, and what you see on this slide on the left is how you currently develop and run your models. So you develop them using AnyLogic model development environments on a desktop. Then you can either run it on the same machine, or you can export it as a standalone Java application, leave with your colleague or with a client. Or you could, I'm not saying you can, but you could export your model to runthemodel.com as applet, Java applet, and then let other people run the model in their browser as Java applet. Now, That technology, as we all know, is dying because Java applets are no longer allowed to run. So, which is kind of bad news, but the good news is that we're going to provide you with a much greater, much more easy to use replacement for the applets. So in AnyLogic 7, the model development, the model editor will continue sitting on desktop as an old school desktop application. We considered actually moving AnyLogic, the model development to the browser. We don't think that there'll be a big, you will benefit a lot from that. So the model editor will continue to be the desktop application, but provided you have built and debugged your model, you will be able to export the model to what the kind of the working title is AnyLogic Cloud, where you will be able, first of all, to store the model itself, the scenarios of which basically means the different sets of input parameters, how we'd run the model, and different kinds of experiments like Monte Carlo parameter variation, optimization, etc. The results from already performed runs. And you will be able to run your experiments in the cloud. This obviously makes a lot of sense for experiments requiring multiple runs. Again, the parameter variation, Monte Carlo, and optimization would be the obvious examples of that. And so the model execution will move to the browser, and the controlling and running the models will move to the cloud, and controlling and running the models will move to the browser. So in the browser, you will have the web app to put together your model running scenarios, to set up parameters, kind of dashboards, to view and compare results of the models, of the results of your simulations, view animation, and collaborate with each other. So basically, to put it short, model execution and storage goes to the cloud, and the user interface goes to the browser. And these are the main principles of AnyLogic 8. So we're going to provide you a new, better way of storing the models, including the model version control, designing experiments. We all know that you can design experiments using today's AnyLogic environment, but we're going to provide a much better way of manipulating your input parameters and configure your experiments. Obviously, to execute models, and this will be also a way to deliver your results to the client. So you will never have to worry, okay, where is my model? What version of the model should I run? Have I completed all the setup? Do I need to set up something on my machine? Do I need to set up something on a client's machine? So, because the model is always there, it sits in the cloud, you will be able to have access to all versions of the model, and you will be able to run the model from any device, including your cell phones, because it will be nothing but a web app. Animation will be delivered to you in the first version of AnyLogic 8. This will be a streamed video, right, or something like that. Well, you can think of it as streamed video of animation with kind of some simple control over the animation. Later on, we will switch to the fully, truly interactive animation. Now, with what we want to provide a kind of social network in a way to share your models, to deliver your models to your colleagues or clients, and to collaborate. So you will be able to manage user access, who can run the model, who can modify the model, who can download sources, who can compare scenarios, etc., etc. So there'll be kind of user management part of that. And obviously, you will benefit a lot from distributing different runs over different machines. What we're not doing, we're not working in the direction of, if you have very, very computationally heavy simulation, how to distribute a single simulation run on multiple processors, because this is always, an art, and it's always custom. But obviously, we can easily put different simulation run on different nodes in the cloud and collect results in parallel. Right, so right now where we are here, we're in the intensive development phase. So what you see on this slide is a kind of working sketches of the user interface, and user interface for the web app will be at least as good as the one Luigi Manca showed for his model. We're thinking exactly in that direction: modern, clean, minimalistic, flat design, and we obviously will use a lot better charts, more modern charts, interactive and interacting with each other with similar power. I mean similar to what Tableau has, and we're considering different providers of this browser-based charts. I can say that each time we come back to St. Petersburg and to Chicago after this conference, we come back very highly motivated, because we see such a great things that you guys built using our software, which makes us feel that we're also doing something really, really worthwhile. So, guys, thanks once again, and questions?
I'll stick to just two questions. With AnyLogic 8, the cloud-based computing sounds great, but will we still have the opportunity or the option to export to a Java executable for those platforms we've already developed as desktop?
Absolutely.
And then my next question is, people who remember the transition from 6 to 7 remember a little bit of pain. By the way, I upgraded from 7.1 to 7.2 with no pain at all. I really appreciate that. So how much of a transition do you think it'll be to go from 7 to 8 for our existing models and clients?
I do not expect any single difficulty with the transition, because the main tool, the model editor or model development environment, just stays the same. What we're adding an export option. So the only changes to the model development environment would be you would be able to specify exactly what are the inputs of the model, what are the outputs that you later on want to play with using your web app, right? That'll be the only change to the model. So define inputs, define outputs, put it into the cloud, and then configure your dashboards, configure the controls to change the parameters, build your experiments, and view the experiments results. So it's a kind of not the change of functionality, it's a kind of growth of functionality in kind of orthogonal direction.
Is the cloud supplied by AnyLogic? Can I supply my own cloud? Can I use a Google Cloud, an Azure Cloud?
Okay, Nikolay, you can answer this question. I cannot.
Of course, we will provide our own cloud, and we are currently thinking about allowing you to use your computational capacities to run models. But the architecture is currently under design. So, and we take into account this request, of course.
Yeah, so basically, as far as I understand, in some cases, companies would not want to put their simulation in a public cloud, right? On the other hand, obviously, at the same time, you would want to benefit from AnyLogic 8. So for those customers, we will provide a kind of, let's say, solution that can be deployed on a private cloud and having the same functionality.
I want to apologize for asking a completely frivolous question, but I can't help it. In your development of the traffic library, have you been able to replicate rubber banding? And if so, can you please explain why traffic goes from 30 miles an hour to a complete stop for no apparent good reason?
All right. All right. So the question is about, as far as I understand, validating our road traffic library and how do we actually set up the requirements. So we set up the requirements based on our own experience with road traffic modeling, based on the tools that are out there. And there is a bunch of tools that do just road traffic modeling. Based on the comments and needs from our customers and the comments we received, because we did have a limited functionality preview of the road traffic library. So whether it was validated or not against this particular case, I wouldn't be able to tell you, but I know that it has been tested against many kind of basic scenarios that we knew are important. So, well, in a month you will see we will be able to test and validate it yourself, and we certainly will be eager to know your feedback.
Do you have any other plans besides these new functionalities for the fluid library? Do you have something else that you can foresee in your roadmap? And a very minor question, do you have any new functionalities for the rail library? Something in your roadmap that is coming?
Sorry, I'm not sure I didn't get because of the... so the first question was about what libraries?
Fluid library.
Fluid library?
So is there... I saw a few new blogs like Fluids Pickup and Mixed Tank.
Yeah, so these are pieces that we added recently. They will be included in the December release. So we're constantly, receiving feedback on the fluid library, improving it, both performance and functionality. So it will all continue, both fluid and rail. So the main. I only mean that we will not do like major new library to model yet another application area in the nearest future. No, but with regards to the existing stuff, we will continue to receiving feedback from the users and improving it. So definitely yes. Thank you very much for supporting us, because if you continue to support us by using our software, doing great stuff, we will promise to deliver to you the best simulation modeling software in the world, as we have been doing. So thank you.
Thank you.